Welcome everyone, I hope you're in a very wonderful day, and welcome to my guide for fallow deer for Emerald Coast. Before we begin, I want to quickly break down how today's guide is going to work. So our first section will be covering their hotspots and locations, and then we're going to move on to weapon recommendations, and then end today's video with the animal profile, which have a custom map, time zones, ammo chart, and more. Everything you need to make your hunting life 10 times easier. So let's get right into it by quickly going over their drinking time. These guys drink between 10 to 13. And they pretty much cover all of the map on Emerald Coast. Where is my fallow deer? I am very, very confused. I'm going to quickly open up my map really quick. We should have some fallow deer here. I don't know where my boys are at, but they are not here. Maybe we'll just give it a minute, because we did just change the time just a minute ago. And I believe that was a Java and Rusa, so we're going to go prone really quick. Hopefully they'll come here while I explain where they like to reside. So let's go over the hotspots really quick. So right where my camera's panned, we have 4 lakes right here. I consider these hotspots mostly just mostly because how close they are to outposts and easy to access they are. Each one of these lakes has roughly between 1 to 2 groups of fallow deer. If I really want to show a good location, I should come down here to this one here, because I have a lot of fallow deer down there. But I recommend checking out these 4 lakes, including this one as well, because this is also a pretty good spot. And then if you come up here to this river stretch, which I always talk about, this river stretch is also really, really good for fallow deer. And the one to the right of it, which I don't really talk about very much when it comes to hotspots, because most of the animals I've hunted on these stretches of this river have been kind of very fragmented and separated. But with fallow deer, it was just back to back to back action. As you guys can see, we have some hunting pressure all up and down here. Those are all fallow deer that I was shooting. So I do think they kind of center around this point of the map here at these lakes and stuff, but they could be found throughout all of the northern section as well, and including up in the mangroves up here as well, and the 3 lakes here on the right hand side. They cannot be found on the coast of the map at all, or down here at the bottom at these mangroves, and then over here down at the dry bone plateau. They can only be found at 3 lakes. The one right here where my mouse is at Hogan's Field, the one up here where I talked about being a really good hotspot, and the one right here right below this outpost. Now that pretty much does it for all their locations and the hotspots. So let's see if we have any of our fallow deer here. Oh, we do have a mating call, so they are coming in. And as I said, I wonder if this group has their male, because I did shoot the male yesterday. It doesn't look like it. I don't think they have a male right now. Oh, there he is. Okay. He was a level 4, now he's a level 3. Very unfortunate. I typically don't shoot animals within my guide videos, but I'm going to take this guy out just so we can get, hopefully, a better fallow deer. I do love the fallow deer. They're one of my favorite deer in the game. So I do want to get a great one of them, and I do want to get a diamond for this account, as I do not have one currently for this account, which is very unfortunate, as I did reset mine at the beginning of last year. So we're going to just take our rifle out really quick. No. And there he goes. But I do like these 4 lakes that I hunt at pretty much all the time here. I do recommend tenting up for those, or at least putting a tent for the one on the far left over here, which is hidden by the words "little darling." It'll just make the grind a lot easier. The way I'm probably going to do it is I'm going to hop between these 4 lakes and just ride the rivers up and down, and hopefully I'll get a diamond out of that. And then check every once in a while for the solos, because I have quite a few solos at some of these lakes. But let's pick this guy up. He's probably going to be just straight up a silver. But we might as well just got him out of the way and make room for a bigger boy if possible. And yep, he was a silver. What's the gold threshold? 187 for the gold threshold. He was just a little boy. And there's our shot. Alright folks, that pretty much does it for the hotspots and locations. I'm going to head back to the outpost, and we're going to be covering some weapon recommendations. Alrighty folks, so here we are back at the outpost. Before we begin, I'll mention quickly 3 things. First things first is, I'm only going to be covering rifles, handguns, and shotguns. I'll not be covering bows, because I'm not a bow expert, so I'll leave that to professionals. Secondly, it's just my personal recommendations and favorites. I always say go out there and explore and see what suits you and what you enjoy playing with. And then lastly, I'll be mentioning all the deals these weapons come from in case you want to pick them up for yourself. So, let's get right into it with my favorite bolt-action rifle in the entirety of the game. The Malmer 7mm Magnum is a very solid choice. It kind of is overkill for these guys, but I mean, it will drop them. I love it. It's very accurate. It's very fun to use. You do have a single shot version that is free in the game, but I prefer this one because you have 3 rounds, so you can play some follow-up shots, which is very useful. And you can find this bad boy in the Hunter Power Pack DLC. Moving on to the rifle that I just used in that last segment there when I shot that fallow deer, the Model 1894 is a very solid lever action. I've kind of stayed away from it because of its overpowered nature of just literally gutting everything in existence, but I've been enjoying using it lately, so I'm going to recommend it. It's very fun to use. I have 6 rounds in there, so you can just keep firing with it, and if you use the really good pennant rounds for the 44, it is just a beast. And you could find this bad boy in the Ambusher Pack DLC. Moving on to our final rifle of the day, which I am going to be offering a semi-auto option here. The Zarza 10-308 is very, very fun to use, especially when it comes to fallow deer hunting. It's semi-auto, you have 5 rounds in the magazine, so if you miss, don't sweat it. You have some follow-up shots you can place. So it's very fun to use on that. I was going to recommend maybe the 30-06, but the 308 has that extra oomph on it, so I kind of enjoy using that a little bit more. And you can find this in the Modern Rifle Pack DLC. Moving on to handguns, I think everyone that has already watched my channel knows what I'm about to say. The 4570 Jernberg Spirit is the best pistol in Call of the Wild, and I will stand on that hill and die on that hill. This thing is just beautiful. Yes, it does have one shot in the tube there, but you could put a rifle scope on it, which gives it advantage over every other pistol in the game, as you have that better zoom. And you can find this bad boy in the high caliber weapon pack. It just took me a minute there. And also, I forgot to mention one last thing about this. It covers classes 4 through 9, just like the Malmer, which covers classes 4 through 9. So both these two together make for a very deadly combination. So just keep that in mind when you're out there. I recommend picking this thing up. It's so fun. Moving on to shotguns, which I don't really want to recommend shotguns for this map. However, we got one. We're going to have one for you guys. The Norda 20 gauge, I pretty much recommend it for the entirety of this map. Other than probably the Bang Tang and stuff and the Saltwater Crocodiles, I think I recommended the Strandberg. But the Norden, semi-auto, 3 rounds of the tube. 20 gauge, you can use the buckshot on it. I think you can get away with the slugs as well, so which makes it pretty useful. So if you do want to use it, I recommend using the slugs. So that pretty much does it for this, and you can find this bad boy in the Dunk and Cover Pack DLC. That pretty much does it for the weapon recommendation, guys. I'm going to head over to the animal profile there, and I will see you guys there in just a moment. Alrighty folks, so here we are at the end of today's video. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to do a quick animal profile breakdown. So on the left hand side, we have all of our basic fallow deer information. We have our class, difficulty, silver, gold, and diamond threshold. We have our weight from least to greatest in kilograms in pounds. We have our fur types from common, rare, very rare, and the fable/great one fur types as well. Moving on to the center map, we pretty much covered all that information at the beginning of today's video. I think the only thing I did not mention is at this hotspot right here next to this outpost as well. Moving on to the top right hand corner, we have all of our time zones nice and organized, and then below that we have the ammo chart for those full integrity kills. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. It really helps out the channel a lot. With all the way, I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. Happy hunting, good luck, and I will see you guys in the next one.